PowerPoint Online has a variety of simple tools to help you create those last-minute changes to your presentation while on the go. In the next section, we will learn how to create a new presentation, add slides, and adjust the layout, change the presentation theme, or format simple things like font or the background. We'll also briefly discuss how to work with objects, such as images and illustrations, how to insert pictures, shapes, and work with SmartArt, and finally, we'll talk about how to incorporate slide transitions, animations, and how to view your slideshow, all from the convenience of your web browser. There are several ways to create a new PowerPoint online presentation. If you navigate directly to PowerPoint Online through one of these buttons right here, the PowerPoint Online button, from the app's launcher, this is the screen that will greet you. And from here you have a choice. You can create a new blank presentation, or you can create a presentation from one of the many very beautiful templates supplied by Microsoft. Just select the style that you'd like to create, and PowerPoint will launch that brand new presentation following that style or that theme right in a web browser. Now, the experience will be a little bit different if you come at it from, say, OneDrive. If you are in OneDrive and go to your New button and choose PowerPoint Presentation from here, what PowerPoint Online will do is launch a blank presentation, and that's your options. But if you still want to use one of those template designs, don't worry, that's really easy to change. Just go up to your Design tab, and there are all of those themes right there. And that is all there is to creating a brand new presentation in PowerPoint Online. Adding new slides and changing layouts is a little bit different in PowerPoint Online than it is for Microsoft PowerPoint. From the Home tab in the Slides group, you still have the New Slide button and the Layout button, but instead of these options opening up in a gallery for you to choose what kind of new slide or what kind of layout to choose, they open in a new window. And that's really the only difference between PowerPoint Online and Microsoft PowerPoint. But from this window, you can scroll and see all of the available layouts to choose from, and selecting one of these different layouts and clicking the Add Slide button will insert that new slide into your PowerPoint presentation. Now, likewise, rather than adding a new slide, if you just want to change the layout of an already existing slide, instead of clicking on that new slide button, all you've got to do is click that layout button and that same window will appear, and from here you can swap out that slide layout, choose the option Change Layout, and then PowerPoint will swap that layout for you. And that's all there is to adding new slides and changing the layout in PowerPoint Online. For beginners to PowerPoint, it is often tempting when designing slides to make all of those design decisions right here from your normal view. However, this isn't the best way to design, not if you plan on working with others or reusing any of your designs in later slides or keeping designs consistent across your slides. No, the preferred way to design in PowerPoint is to create a basic starting point for all of your slides from the Slide Master view, a view which, by the way, is absent from PowerPoint Online. For that reason, if you are designing a presentation for your company, I strongly recommend starting in Microsoft PowerPoint from the Slide Master. Now, with that said, if you plan on using any one of the Microsoft stock themes or variants, there are some things that you can do to change and customize your design right from within PowerPoint Online. To change a theme in PowerPoint Online, go up to the Design tab, and in this first gallery here, you'll see all the different themes available. Clicking on this drop arrow here will open up a gallery previewing all of the themes. The theme that is currently selected will appear in the upper left-hand corner and have a highlight around it. To change your theme, Simply hover your mouse over the theme that you'd like and click once. PowerPoint will then apply that theme to all of the slides in your presentation, making for a consistent look across all of your slides. In fact, if you go and add a new slide, that theme will be applied to all new slides that you add. And that is how you can change a theme in PowerPoint Online. In addition to changing your theme, you can also adjust the theme by swapping out the variant. Certain themes come stocked with a variety of variations to choose from. Just go up to your Design tab, and in the Variants group, you might see a few different options to choose from for that theme. Just hover your mouse over any one of these options and click to preview what that looks like. Now, again, not all themes come with different variants to choose from, but some of them do. So depending on that theme, you might have some additional options to choose from. So be sure to select a theme and check out those variants just to see what other options you have for any given theme. Now, as far as customizing a theme goes, your options in PowerPoint Online will be limited compared to Microsoft PowerPoint, and they will vary depending on the theme you have chosen. The standard Office theme will give you the most options for customization, as it is the most blank slate out of all of the themes. To customize a theme, make sure you have the Design tab selected and navigate all the way over to that Customize group. In the Format Background tab, you will see all of your various customize options for PowerPoint Online. You can change the solid fill background just by hovering your mouse over solid fill and selecting from any one of the colors here. Now, the color that you choose will by default apply to only the slide that you have selected, but you do have the option to apply that choice to all slides in your presentation. You also have the option to change the background from a picture from File. This is a great option if you have designed a picture in another program, such as Photoshop or Illustrator, and want that background to be pixel perfect and match other company assets already created by a design team. Now think about your company logo. Or some designers are just more comfortable designing things like a background in other programs like Photoshop or Illustrator. Well, that makes this a great option. Format background, picture from file, to customize your slide background. And those are pretty much all of your options for formatting the background in PowerPoint Online. Any other options that you'd like, applying gradients or what have you, that you will have to do in PowerPoint. PowerPoint Online, like Excel Online and Word Online, is lacking in some key features, I believe, for formatting pictures and illustrations. That said, there are some very basic things that you can do to format pictures, shapes, and SmartArt, all from a web browser. Inserting pictures in PowerPoint Online is a similar experience to that of Excel Online. You won't have nearly as many options as you will in the full PowerPoint version. But to insert a picture in PowerPoint Online, just go up to your Insert tab, and in the Images group, you'll have two options. You can insert a picture from your computer or from online, which once again will give you one option and one option only, and that is to search the web, Bing specifically, for images that you can pull in. This time we are going to be pulling in images from our computer. So clicking that picture button, I have some PNG files and an EMF file. But first I'm going to grab this goals image and click open. And moving that over here to the Establish Goals section, there is my first picture. Now to format that picture, just like with Excel, we are limited with those options. We can apply a variety of different picture styles, but all of the other options to adjust the color of the image, etc., those options you'll have to open in PowerPoint in order to do that. So in terms of the picture's color, what you see is kind of what you get. Now, if you recall, PowerPoint the full desktop version that is, allows you to insert EMF pictures, which you can then ungroup and then customize as a drawing object. Well, if you insert an EMF file in PowerPoint Online and try to ungroup that picture, you'll see that that option is not there. You cannot ungroup EMF files in PowerPoint Online, unfortunately. But you can insert the picture as is in PowerPoint Online. So let me just go ahead and insert the rest of these pictures on the slide. And there we go. There are all of our pictures for each little bullet point or step for this particular slide. And those are your options for formatting pictures in PowerPoint Online. You can change the picture style and adjust basic things like arranging or cropping. But other than that, those are your options. In PowerPoint Online, there are a few locations that you can go to quickly add a shape to your slide. From the Home tab in the Drawing group, you'll see a Shapes gallery right here where you can scroll through, find any shape that you like, from lines to basic shapes, rectangles, block arrows, equation shapes, flowchart, stars and banners, and callouts. All of these shapes are pretty much the same as what you'd find in PowerPoint. The only difference is that the action buttons are missing from this gallery. To draw a shape in PowerPoint Online, it's the same method. You select a shape, and then it is inserted right onto your slide. From there, you can then grab hold of one of the corners to resize the shape as you see fit. To format a shape, you also have some other available tools. In that same drawing group, you have some quick styles to format based on your theme colors. And if you don't like any one of the theme colors, you can override any one of these colors by changing the shape fill. What's missing from PowerPoint Online, which makes me really sad, is that there is no color picker. But we lived without it for so long in PowerPoint, so I guess we can live without it here as well. What's also nice from the Home tab is that they've made this duplicate button very handy. Clicking that will make a duplicate of that shape right there. So that's something that's a little different from the full version of PowerPoint. You also have a lot of these same options from the Drawing Tools Format tab. There's your Shapes gallery. There's all of your various shape styles, your shape fill. You also have the option here to change your shape outline, which includes changing the color, changing the weight, changing the style. In fact, let me make that a little bit thicker so you can see it better. And of course, adjusting the Z order of shapes on your slide. You can bring it forward or bring to front, or send backward by sending it backward or send all the way to the back. And that's what that looks like. Now, some other things that are missing that, again, make me a little sad. When you right-click a picture, you don't have the option to edit points. So you're kind of limited in customizing shapes in PowerPoint Online. You also are missing that merge or combine shapes feature in PowerPoint Online. And that's one that I use a lot when I'm creating slides. So for those options to customize those shapes, you will have to open that in PowerPoint. Now at this point, you've watched a lot of my clips so far, so I feel like I can be honest with you. And I gotta say, out of all of the features they could include in PowerPoint Online, I'm really surprised that SmartArt made the cut. But it's here, and here are all of your SmartArt options that you can choose from. Not as many, but they are here. To insert SmartArt onto a slide, once again, Insert tab, click on SmartArt, and click on an option from that gallery. PowerPoint will then slap that object onto the slide, allowing you then to resize the object to fill the area that you'd like it to fill. Adding text to your SmartArt shape is a little bit different from the full version of PowerPoint, and this one I find a little bit difficult to do. You can kind of see it happening as soon as I click off the slide and then click back on it. It swaps the view to a bullet point view. So then you're adding your information like bullet points. I just think that's a little bit disorientating, but I guess with the options available, it works. So adding in some information, there we go, and clicking off of the content will then convert it back to that SmartArt shape. Now selecting the SmartArt shape again, that will bring back my SmartArt Tools Design tab. And from here, now I can do all of those little formatting options. I can change the colors, and again, these colors will be based on your design theme. You have some colorful options to choose from, and some monochromatic options based on each individual color in your theme. Next to those colors, you have a variety of SmartArt styles to choose from, and these are very similar to what you find in the full version of PowerPoint. And in terms of editing that graphic, you can add additional shapes, promote or demote depending on what type of SmartArt object that you have selected, and all of those options will appear in the Create Graphic group. Those are your buttons right there. But those are your options for SmartArt. Not too many, but they will do in a pinch. When it comes to transitions and animations, and this does make sense since we are talking about the web here, what you can do animation-wise is quite basic compared to the desktop version of PowerPoint. That said, you still can create some simple slide transitions and some simple animations right from PowerPoint Online, right from your web browser. Just like in Microsoft PowerPoint, all of your slide transition options can be found from the Transition tab. And here they all are. You have None, and you have Fade, and you have Push. And that's about it. So let's select Slide 2, and we're going to add a slide transition to this one. Let's add the Fade transition. And to preview what that looks like, well, in PowerPoint Online, you can't preview it by pressing that little star icon underneath the slide number like you can in Microsoft PowerPoint. To preview the slide transition, you will have to run it in SlideShow view, which we'll be covering in a later clip. Now, as for effect options, from that Transitions tab, you'll see a button for Effect Options. And these effect options will vary depending on the specific transition. So for fade, you have the options to fade smoothly or through black. Now let's apply the push transition to slide number 3. So selecting slide number 3 and selecting push, your effect options, you have 4. You can have it push from bottom, from left, from right, or from top. For this slide, let's choose from left, and there you go. Now, if at any time you'd like to simplify things and apply one transition across all of your slides, you have a handy little button to do that. Over here, there is your Apply to All button, and whatever transition you have selected on your currently selected slide, that is the transition that will then be applied to all slides, along with whatever options you had selected. And that's really all there is to adding slide transitions in PowerPoint Online. Any other options you want, then you'll have to go into the full version of PowerPoint to adjust those options. What I've discovered is this: whether or not you like working with animations in PowerPoint Online depends entirely on how good or how advanced you are working with animations in Microsoft PowerPoint. If you are very advanced and are really good and make complex animations in Microsoft PowerPoint, then you will not like working with animations in PowerPoint Online. But if you don't really work with animations all that often and just create simple animations like animating a bulleted list, then you will have absolutely no problem transitioning to PowerPoint Online to create animations. Now, let me show you why. So on slide 2, we have our little, well, let's call them bullet points for lack of a better word. Our points that we like to make: establish goals, listen to your audience, build your channels, and connect, don't spam. Now let's say we want each one of these points to animate one by one. Well, to do that, let's go up to our animation tab, and for that, we would then need to select the objects that we want animated. Now, I'm going to select this first group here, the little trophy and the text box establish goals. Now, to apply an animation, my options again are quite limited. I have 3 animation options: appear, fade in, and fly in. And we're going to make this animation very simple. We're just going to be using fade animations here. So clicking right on top of this, that will apply that fade animation to this, both of these objects, the little trophy picture and the text box. Now, I am an advanced animation person, and I love working with animations in that cool little animation pane in Microsoft PowerPoint. If you notice, there is absolutely no option to bring up that pane. You also don't have options to adjust things like the timing or the order, well, besides what you have right here. What you do have available is this, your effect options. You can choose to animate things as one object or by paragraph, and that's it. Now let's go through and animate a few other things. So let's select this picture in that text box, apply that fade, and now we kind of have to keep in our memory of what we've animated when to move something earlier within the order or later, because all we have are these 2 buttons to adjust our timings. That I don't really find very user-friendly. But if all we are doing is animating a bulleted list or animating things in order like this, that's really all we need in the end. So let's finish this list. Let's do the rest of these. Let's do fade in, and this last one. Oops, I forgot the picture. Let me select that too and fade in. All right, now I should have all of these animated one by one. Now jumping over to slide 4, I want to talk briefly about animating SmartArt because this one is a little tricky for some. To animate SmartArt, select the SmartArt, and same thing, we're going to choose Fade. Now this is where those effect options do come in handy. That animate as one object or animate one by one. If you want the SmartArt object to appear all at once, that's as one object. Or if you want each little point to appear one by one, that's this option right here. So we're going to leave this option one by one selected to have each individual shape appear one at a time. Now another thing I don't like about animations, and this is very different from PowerPoint Online than in Microsoft PowerPoint, there is no preview button up here to view these animations. That drives me crazy. And clicking that little star icon by that 4, that won't preview those animations either. In fact, the only way to preview any animations at all is to view your slideshow. So join me in the next and last clip of this PowerPoint section, and we will view what we've done so far. In PowerPoint Online, viewing a slideshow serves many purposes, not just because, well, you're giving a slideshow. No, viewing a slideshow in PowerPoint Online is in many ways the only way to preview what your slideshow really looks like. In previous clips, we learned that you couldn't preview things like transitions or animations, and jumping to slideshow view is the only way to preview those effects. So, to jump to slideshow view, there are a couple of ways to do that. The long way is to jump to your View tab, and in the Presentation Views section, there is your Slideshow button. That will launch the slideshow from the very first slide of your presentation. Now you do have another option, and that is to use this button right here. That is your slideshow button as well. And that will launch the slideshow from whatever current slide you have selected. Either way, that will open up your PowerPoint Online Viewer, which will open up a separate window like so. And from here, you can click through your presentation just like this. And look at this. Notice what happened. Our pictures were not animated with our text boxes. Ah, that's interesting. And we can click through each individual point. And there's our push transition. And there's our SmartArt animating one by one. And that's our slideshow. And those are the options that we have available in PowerPoint Online. Anything else that we'd want to go back and edit or change or view about our slideshow options, all of those things we would have to do in the full PowerPoint version. So yeah, we'd have to open up that presentation in the full version of PowerPoint to adjust those slideshow settings. So as you can see, the slideshow view isn't really for slideshows, it's for previewing things like animations. So now we know that our slides, or our pictures I should say, are not animating. Now we know we can go back and fix those animations. Apparently you cannot apply an animation to more than one object at a time. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 animations. Now if I select this picture and click Fade In, if I want that to appear with this Establish Goals text box, I have to move that earlier 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I have to do that the same way for each additional picture here. Apply that fade and adjust 1, 2, 3. Grab this picture, apply that fade, click 1, 2, and then select this picture, apply that fade, and now let's preview that again. Go to Slideshow. There's that blank slide. There's my trophy. There's my text box. Notice how there never is an option in PowerPoint Online to have these objects appear together or with one another. That's another thing that drives me crazy about PowerPoint Online. That option just isn't here. You can't group objects as one thing. There's no options anywhere to group shapes, group text boxes. You're kind of limited in that regard. And then with animations, you can't have something transition with or animate with the previous animation. All you can do is stack animations. And for that reason, I highly recommend animating things in Microsoft PowerPoint. And for that matter, adjusting slideshow settings, that as well is one thing I just say, stick with Microsoft PowerPoint. You'll have a far easier time editing options and controlling how your slideshow works in the full version of PowerPoint.